Many schools and colleges and higher education institutions have a student's voice, which allows students to have a say about the educational journey. They're given the opportunity to share their views, opinions, and suggestions for improvement regarding courses they've enrolled onto. The main purpose of doing this is to experience the learning journey from the learner's point of view, allowing improvements and changes to be made where needed. Apart from making changes to education programs and courses, any concerns the students are taken into consideration and action is taken accordingly. The only issue I've found as a student is how quickly we're expected to fill out these surveys. For example, sometimes we're given 5 minutes at the end of a lesson and we just really want to get out the class, basically. So we don't always end up putting our true feelings onto those surveys. And although the surveys are anonymous, I've always got that slight fear of my handwriting will be recognised. So I can just imagine it's the same case for many other people. Also, for many students, it's the case of what's the actual point? Will our voice actually be heard, or is this just a technique of keeping students quiet for a long period of time? Is it just a way of making us believe that a change is being made when in actual fact it's not? The point is, I guess, that students they'll always want to be heard. And there will be efforts put into changing what the students want changed. But I don't know, students will always think that teachers are doing less. Teachers will always think students aren't really helping. It's like a constant battle.
Thanks to my colleague Zahra, who described what is a student voice and some of the potential issues with it. So I'm going to focus a little bit more on the technical side. Student voice is important because students experience the course or the service firsthand, so they've got really unique and highly relevant perspective to the course delivery. And educational providers should aim to gain the student's perspective before and after the course to check if improvement areas have worked. So let's move on to another part, how to use it. Providers need to decide upon clear objectives for what they are trying to achieve. Feedback, questionnaires and everything needs to be always very specific. There are several approaches to that. First approach is using questionnaires. It's a very straightforward way of getting information from large numbers of people. It's easy to administer and it's useful for measuring a baseline information and evaluating the change over the time. To creating a questionnaire, creators needs to be clear of what they try to accomplish and what information they need. Students should be involved in designing questions, and questionnaires should be kept short, only for up to 10 minutes, no longer. Then there's another form, there's snapshot questionnaires, which are a good way to get a representative sample of views from students using a specific service or a course or a part of a course, like for example admissions, enrollment and so. For that, the same questionnaire can be done to students attending on the same day, so it's like a sample, one-day sample, or over the week. Let's move on to another one, and those are focus groups or course committees. Focus groups are informal, while course committees are more formal setting. And they are those are instances where people discuss their user experience and ways how to improve that, so it's more personalized. Last thing which I'm going to mention are semi-structured interviews, which are made on one-to-one, and they are used to collect qualitative data. They aim to understand the responder's point of view rather than generalizations, and then they yield more information than questionnaires. And they have also the advantage that students have the opportunity to ask for clarification. On the other hand, they are quite time-consuming to conduct and analyze, and they need to be kept confidential and anonymous, so students or interviewees are relaxed and give full answers. But that was also what Zahra mentioned before me, that sometimes people think no one is going to listen to that, so what's the point in giving feedback? Last thing which I'm going to speak about is the circle of using student voice. So for example, as a first step would be creating a questionnaire. So again, specific, short, up to 10 minutes, where students where students fill it, and then data are collected and evaluated. Then results are distributed between the wider staff, not just teachers teaching primarily that subject, because all this stuff is always involved in schoolwork. The action plan is created and implemented, and after some duration, can be few weeks, can be few months, can be one full school year, then there is a follow-up study, which can be provided again by questionnaires, what is like a lot of data, or on the other hand, it can be a bit of variety, so it can be done by those semi-structured interviews where people or interviewers can delve deeper. So that would be all. Thank you.